Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Cecilia, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from Revolve Renewable Power Corp. Please note you can submit questions in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Sunita Prasad, Vice President, Corporate Development and Investor Relations of Revolve Renewable Power, which trades on the OTCQB Venture Market under the symbol REVVF and on the TSXV under the symbol REVV. Welcome, Sunita.
Cecilia, and thanks everyone for joining us. Revolve Renewable Power is a fast growing owner, operator, and developer of renewable energy projects in North America. Canada, US, and Mexico, with a focus on wind, solar, and battery storage technologies. We have a very experienced management team with a proven track record of success where we have developed projects from greenfield, taken it to ready to build stage, and returned healthy ROI for our shareholders. What I'm going to go through in our investor deck is I'm going to share a unique growth story with you. I'm also going to share our objectives and goals moving forward and where we're taking the business from here on. And of course, I'm going to share our business model with you and our share structure and our cap table. And also, as far as questions go, I want to answer all the questions. And so if towards the end we are not able to cover your questions, then I will reach out to you individually to make sure that I've answered all your questions. Okay, so let's begin the slides. I want to bring your attention to the disclaimer, our forward-looking statements, because I'm going to talk about some forecasts and guidance. So these are management forecasts. I want to make sure that you're aware of the standard disclaimer. Our investment opportunity. So what we offer. We are an ESG-focused investment opportunity. We are trying to solve the net zero emissions target. So that's the solution we are contributing towards. A diversified investment strategy, and this makes us unique because we have large utility scale projects in our portfolio, as well as distributed generation projects. These are the large utility scale projects. Some examples would be, say, a wind farm or a solar farm. These projects have the ability to provide electricity to hundreds and thousands of homes. And then your distributed generation projects are more commercial scale, industrial projects that are, and an example of that would be, say, a manufacturing facility that is, that wants to save their electricity bill, and they've put some solar panels on their rooftop. So those, kind of the examples. But so that's how we are diverse, because we have these large projects as well as commercial industrial scale projects. And our management team, like I said earlier, we have a track record of proven success where we have historically taken projects from greenfield to ready to build and then exited by selling them to global energy leaders. So Revolve at a glance. We are a North American focused renewable energy company concentrating on Mexico, US, and Canada. Let's go through number one. We are an operator and developer. So the company was established in 2012, and since then we've been a pure development play. And now we're transitioning to an owner and operator, and that transition has already begun. So we're basically going from developer. We will still remain developers, but we want to be owners and operators of some of the projects. So, our goal is to be an power independent power producer. Uh, we have a diverse portfolio, like I explained earlier, the utility scale as well as distributed generation projects. We've got 2.85 gigawatts of utility scale, which is 2,850 megawatts, and 160 megawatts of distributed generation. Um, we are we concentrate on proven renewable technologies, so wind, solar, and battery storage. Uh, our track record, we sold 1,550 megawatts of wind and solar projects, generating close to 20 million revenue to date. North American platform, like I explained earlier, and then we are revenue generating. So we focus on growing current base of long-term recurring revenue and operating assets. So these are our projects at a glance. We've got operational projects under construction, advanced stage, mid stage, and early stage, a total of 3,000 megawatts capacity. And I hope you can see the yellow lines there as well. The Baus and Parker projects were sold recently in January this year to a company called Engie, and these were located in Arizona, US. And as a private company, we sold the Dolores Wind Project, which was located in Mexico. And through that, when we sold that project as a private company, we paid dividends to our shareholders. And then after going public in January, we sold the Baus and Parker. So this is our management team. Our CEO, Steve Dalton, has a lot of renewable energy experience. Omar and Steve are co-founders. We've got legal expertise, engineering expertise, uh, and finance and accounting. So this is our track record. So like I said, we were established in 2012 as a private company. Developed and sold projects. Then in 2022, we decided to go public on the TSXV by a reverse takeover. Then in August, we acquired a new business, and this is the distributed generation business from a company called Centrica. They were selling their assets in Mexico, so we purchased it for a good price. And we also inherited the employees of that company, and they are still with us developing that business. We construction and financing of a 3.2 megawatts battery energy storage project, and then we sold a project, two of those, the Baus and Parker, to Engie, and that was a total of 1,250 megawatts. We expanded into Canada this year, and we recently signed a proposed acquisition with a Canadian company called Wind River Corp in Canada. So our corporate strategy, I want you to pay attention to this, because this is where we are taking the business forward. We want to share this with you, our objectives for the year 2025. Like I said, we want to be an independent renewable power producer, an IPP. focused on projects in Mexico, Canada, and the US. By 2025, we would like our revenue to be in the 15 million range, EBITDA $10 million US, and a total portfolio of 5 gigawatts or 5,000 megawatts. And how are we going to get there? There's two ways we're going to get there: through organic growth and mergers and acquisition strategy. So organic growth is more, um, remember in the earlier slide, that list of projects that I showed you, the smaller projects, like we have the Vernal battery storage project and our Primus wind project, we plan on developing these ourselves. And the larger projects we will develop and exit by selling it to a larger utility company. So right now we have, so our financial year end is June 30th. So we should be announcing some numbers at the end of this month. But from 2023 to 2024, our projects operating and under construction should be around the 59 megawatt range. And from 2024 to year 2025, we want to go from the 59 megawatts to 189 megawatts. And the key drivers of this growth will be our DG portfolio. We've got a pipeline of 156 megawatt for our distributed generation business, and we want to take the move the pipeline to projects under construction and operating during 2025 and 2024 and 2025. Then we have the utility scale business, which the smaller projects we want to develop ourselves, and the larger ones we want to sell and to larger companies. And then, of course, acquisitions, actively seeking single asset or portfolio acquisition opportunities under 30 megawatts in the US and Canada, and aim to complete a minimum of one transaction per year to supplement organic growth from existing portfolio. And the first proposed acquisition already signed is with Wind River, which was done like the last week. And I'll talk further in my later slides on the Wind River project. Okay, our financial overview. This is an interesting slide I want to share with you. If you see in the year 2022, our revenue, we didn't have a revenue. Our EBITDA was in the negative, and we didn't have any operating and under construction projects. But we have provided some guidance and forecasts where we are, this is just management forecasts. Our revenue is targeted to be 1.1 million. EBITDA is minus 1.86, and operating and under construction assets of 6.2 megawatts. But this is where it gets interesting. Our forecast for 2024, we plan on reaching a revenue of 5 million and EBITDA break even, and our operating and under construction assets of 59 megawatts, which I showed you in the earlier table. And so, these numbers are based on the portfolio of projects we have right now. We are very confident in our ability to acquire more projects in the next year. And when that happens, this 5 million number can significantly change. And of course, EBITDA would improve. And our target for financial year 2025 is 15 million in revenue, 10 million in EBITDA, and 150 megawatts plus in operating and under construction assets. So we want to go from a micro-cap company to a mid-cap company by then. So our business units, like I explained earlier, the utility scale and the distributed generation. So these are the two business units. I've given you examples of it earlier. So the utility scale projects take about 3 to 4 years from greenfield to ready to build. And so historically, we develop and sell these projects. And like I said, we're transitioning to an owner operator model. And the way we create value, shareholder value with these projects is milestone payments from development progress and of the long-term recurring cash flow. For distributed generation, it's a shorter timeline, 6 to 9 months from origination to operation. And this is an owner operator model, and we get into a long term power purchase agreement with clients and providing us with long term cash flow and recurring revenue. So our utility scale portfolio, you will see that we've got late stage project, we've got mid stage, and we've got some early stage projects. A total of 2.84 gigawatts with 633 megawatts in the pipeline. And the business model for our utility scale project is project origination, project development, construction ready, and we exit. So that within that time. I want to use an illustrative situation, a scenario, to give you an idea of a utility, a typical 200 megawatt solar project. So project origination, development, construction ready. So this is where the ready RTB, ready to build, and then we exit. And if you see, the valuation for these kinds of projects is $40,000 to $50,000 per megawatt. So 1 megawatt is valued at around 40,000 to 50,000 US dollars. And if you consider the projects that we sold, Baus and Parker, to Engie, which is a total of 1,250 megawatts, this will come to about 50 million to 62.5 million for us when all is done with these projects. And here it is again. So those projects, so payment, so total consideration for the sale is within the valuation, like I mentioned earlier, and equating to a consideration range of 50 million to 62.5. And the payment of the sale, we're getting milestone payments, and an upfront of 2 million has been received. We have since then received an additional $850,000. And the milestones are basically further interconnection studies, notice to proceed, NTP, construction works, and finally commissioning to the grid. Um, that's when we receive the final payment. So this is the proposed acquisition of the Canadian company, Wind River Corp. We're excited about this. We are working towards fully acquiring these projects. So there'll be a gross operating capacity of 23 megawatts, gross development capacity of 90 megawatts, and then we have a remaining 28 years on the power purchase agreements on these projects. So of course, revenue and cash flow enhancing for our company. So this is the business model for the distributed generation, our second business unit. We basically originate the project, construct, finance, and enter into a long-term power purchase agreement with the customer. So remember, I used the example of a manufacturing facility, maybe wants to put solar panels on their roof. So they would be our customers, and we would enter into a power purchase agreement of up to about 10 years. And we've got a pipeline of 156 megawatts, and that's growing for the distributed generation arm. Here's some of the projects, our capacity of 165 megawatts of the distributed generation business. So we've got three projects that are operating. We've got one under construction, and we've got three letters of intent in place. So we are working towards bringing that into under construction and operational. So, like I said, we've got a total of 156 megawatts in the pipeline that we want to bring into um, under construction. So this is a business model for the distributed generation. Uh, uh, Again, an illustrative situation of using 2 megawatts battery storage. So project origination to finance, and then entering into a 10-year power purchase agreement, providing us with long-term revenue and cash flow. So this process takes about, it's shorter term, about, 9 up to 9 months, providing us an unlevered pre-tax of IRR of 15%. Our target markets are the US, Canada, and Mexico, like I mentioned, because these markets have huge opportunities available right now. So the Inflation Reduction Act in the US has provided us with, with a tailwind that has, with tax credits and all other incentives, and Canada followed in we called it the Made in Canada plan during budget 2023. And Mexico, things are changing for the positive now in Mexico, with great, growing need for new electricity generation capacity to meet economic growth. So we're excited about being a North American company. Looking forward, what to expect? Continued transition to owner to operator business model, with projects reaching RTB, commencing construction, and mergers and acquisition activity. So for the utility scale business, further project milestone from Baus and the Parker project that we sold to Engie is expected in the first half of next year. Progress on Vernal battery storage and the Primus Wind project to move forward to RTB status. Ongoing interconnection and permitting work on projects in Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. Addition of new greenfield development projects in Canada, which we are aggressively working towards. Continued progress on the 1.2 gigawatt Mexican wind portfolio. Consider projects sale once market conditions allow. And then through our distributed generation business, we're conversion of signed letters of intent into projects under construction and operation during next year. Signing PPAs and EPC with EPC contracts, and new DG projects from existing 156 megawatt pipeline. So we're planning on bringing that forward into operation and construction, and of course this will increase our revenue and EBITDA. Consider further consideration acquisitions and expansion of the pipeline into of the projects in the US and Canadian markets. So this is our capital structure. We've got issued and outstanding of 54.9 million. A fully diluted number has changed very recently because we had warrants outstanding which expired. So now the fully diluted number is 59 million. We've got options at 50 cents. RTO was done at 50 cents, so all our shares are at 50 cents. We're listed in Canada and the US, like Cecilia introduced us, mentioned. We've got a market cap of 15 million, cash and deposits, and this is based on our last quarter, March 31st this year, was 1.41 million. Debt, again, last quarter was 2.55 million. And I just want to let you know that our year end was June 30th, and we should be publishing some new numbers by the end of this month. And management and insiders own approximately 50% of, 60% of the shares outstanding. And so if you need to call me or contact us, the investor relations IR at revolve-renewablepower.com, and our phone number. We're located in British Columbia, Canada, and the number is 778-885-5550. So, so there's some questions I see. Let me go through them. Just a minute. I'll just go through the questions. One question is, how do you finance your projects? We finance our projects based on the funds that we received from the sale of our projects. So the milestone payments that we've received, and we've also got revenue and cash flow from our distributed generation business. So we finance through that. We also have a secured loan with a company called RE Royalties. So we have used that to finance our projects. And, we're a public company. So, at some point, we will go to the market. But right now, our share price is not, warranting that very much, because right now we are able to finance the projects we have. Let me check some other. Can you speak to your acquisition strategy, what you look for in a project? How competitive is the market for acquisitions? And what attracted you to Wind River? Wind River, if I'm not mistaken, it came to us as a referral. And the so can you so acquisition strategy, we have access to projects that come to us, and we are actively looking at these projects, evaluating them, and adding them to our pipeline. So we've got a pipeline of 156 megawatts for our distributed generation that we are working on converting from letters of intent to operational and under construction. Let me check some other questions. Okay, we've got 1 minute left. I got a prompt. Some of these questions I'll have to double check. There is one about, are you engaged in sale of carbon credits? And if so, what is the contribution to your business? I would, like I said earlier, I would like to get to all these questions. And if time does not permit, I will get back to you individually. Yes, so that's basically the questions. So yes, I mean, there's a few other questions that are kind of long, but I will get back to you individually. Um, and if there's anything we have missed, please feel free to email us at ir@revolve-renewablepower.com or call me at 778-885-5550.